Wonder where my glasses are. Wonder why I'm in this room. And I can tell you, man, that card is spot on. So, old age. I think the best way is to give you a wee quick story. It happened on Rory's birthday with my family. I had to go into Glasgow to Bath Street. So I take the car down to Melody, park near Chris, jump on the bus. It's a bit tight for time. So I jumps on the bus, takes out my bus pass, which I never use, and the driver says, "That's expired, mister." I said, "All right, I'll pay the fare." He says, "No, I'll give you a ticket that will get you 5 days free." So I do my business, and then my electric blanket had gone on the brink. Now you're all laughing, but when you're 90, and a winter night, an electric blanket is a wonderful thing. I could think of better things, but it's a blanket. So I said, I'll pop up to John Lewis Shopping Centre. Now, you don't pop when you're 90. Your brain says you pop, but you don't. So I'm going up that steep hill. I'm saying, I'm doing all right here, Ian. And here were these women and men passing me with wee trolleys with shopping bags, flying past me. I said, they must have motors in them. So I put myself up a gear, got to John Lewis, got the blanket, which wasn't heavy, but was kind of bulky. And Chris was in town, and I said, "Chris, I'll phone you on the mobile, maybe we'll have lunch together, a snack." Goes to my pocket, no phone. I mean, what can you say? No phone. So, don't panic, Ian, quick snack. I'm coming down Buchanan Street, now look, the best bus stops is in Venfield Street, down at the bottom, because they're all together. I looked and I said, oh hell, look where that is. So, bucket list, underground, haven't been it for 20 years. Go down the escalator. The man looks at me, he doesn't ask for a bus pass. He just looks and says, "Here's the ticket, sir." So I'm at the ticket thing, and I'm going, where the hell's the slot? And a fella taps me on the shoulder and says, "Wee orange light, sir." So it's a wee orange light, you put your ticket on it. Oh, it's technology. So I get into the underground, get to Bridge Street. I get out with this blanket to get the bus. No escalator. I had to walk from the bowels of the air to ground level. Well, I got on the bus, got home. I said, "Oh, I'm knacked, totally knacked." I said, "Thank God." I said, "Oh, Jesus, it's Rory's birthday. I have to go back tonight for a meal at the Regan." So I phoned the family, says, "I'll get the 5 to 7. They said, "We'll meet you." I get up to White Craigs, they've changed the time of the trains. So I'm hanging about in a dark, cold night, White Craigs station, saying, why am I doing this? I should be in my bed. So I get to the station, family meet me, we go to the Regan. Lovely meal, and then it's time to go home. Now they now live in the posh end, West End. So I said, "You go home, I'll get the train." Number one son, "Oh no, Dad, you're not going home alone." That's when you know you're getting old. "I'm taking you home, I'll drop you at the door." So we go into the station, and you know how the departures things are over there, but not with my son. We're walking to home, and he says, "Dad, number 9 platform." So on we go, and we're talking. Mind, we're the only people talking in a train. Everybody's, but we're talking, and the guard come up and said, "You're on the wrong train." So, calmly, my son says, "Dad, we'll get a taxi." Jump off at East Pollock Shields. Now, I don't know if you've been there on a winter's night. It's a long, dark street. There's not a living soul. Not a living soul. And he says, right, he starts phoning. I didn't panic, but he wasn't getting any taxi companies. And he says, maybe one will pass by. It was a joke in the night. So there was a wee Sainsbury, and he dashed to it, I didn't. And they were very nice. They said, we're just closing, you'll get your taxi, and put your old man down the chair there. So the taxi came, they took me home, Alan got home in a taxi, cost him £26, and he's going to Specsavers for taking his dad home. So that's old age. There's good times, bad times, and other times where it's just awful. But as someone said, the alternative isn't so hot. So there we are. Now we come to, you read a lot now of old people who are maybe stuck in their houses. Nobody comes to see them. No one. Social service worker. And you say, how did that happen? Where's their families? Where's their friends? And then I think to myself, so here I am, family. Number one, family is very important. So I forgot what I was going to say. So my wife, May, who died 22 years ago, left me a wee note, and in it she said, look after the family, they will look after you. And I've done that, but now I'm old, and I suddenly realise, it's very subtle, suddenly you realise it's the family who are looking after you. And they certainly do. And if May was here tonight, like me, she'd be proud of all of them. Now, I have a little trick up my sleeve here, because 16 years ago, Chris and I met in a golf game at Cowglen, and we've been going steady since. And as she says, we're just very special friends. So, in that 16 years, the family have taken me in, they've made me welcome. So I've really got a bit of two strings to my bow. And now we come to the next one, friends. Now, I watch all you kids, and I read recently that some of you at 34 and 35 are beginning to feel lonely because your friends are all on a damn telephone with faces. Twitter, Facebook, you name it. You've got to have friends like I've here tonight. You meet them, you socialise with them, you drink with them, and then I have a very close friend here, Main John. He meets me every Tuesday. We always fight and argue for something. And he phones me twice a week to see if I'm above the grass. That is a friend. So, what I'm trying to say to you is, make friends. Now, I also have a lot of friends in the golf course. And there's 12 of us, there's now 10. We play golf twice a week. 4 of us, no. We go on the golf course twice a week. And on a Friday, we have lunch, 10 of us. And we call ourselves the Old Farts. And believe me, the rest of the club calls that as well. And I celebrated my birthday last Friday, and my son Gordon stood the whole thing, a treat for the boys. And that went down well. Mind, I still charge them 10 quid each for the lunch. So, I've got friends, I've got family,
extended family,
and now I come to one more. Your future. How can an old man pass on 90 years of wisdom, which he wishes he'd had when he was 20? How can you pass it on to the young folk? They don't listen. And I'm talking to others too, not just the young. So, there's been a programme on the BBC, which nobody here seems to have seen. Between programmes, you see people look up and the lights, the sun, the sky flashes. Have any of you seen it? And the theme is, live your dreams. Okay? None of you seen that? I must
Is that a musical?
Maybe you don't pay your television license. I would like to tell you how I travelled the world, and I'd like to, if you'll bear the time, how my dream came true. It was 1940. The war was on. Blackout, rationing. London was getting bombed, and we were being thumped. It was a bad time. And our only entertainment, as some of my older friends will know, was the radio. in that corner was the radio, and the cinema, and that great institution, the public library, where you could read about anything you liked. And I'm sitting there, and when my folks went out some nights, it was great to put out the lights. And in the centre of the kitchen living room was the fire. Now, if you went, no central heat, if you moved 5 foot from that fire, the temperature dropped 10 degrees. But you could sit at the fire and look into it, and if you had imagination, and I had, and you could see all sorts of things in the coal, you know. And this night, a fellow called Bing Crosby sang faraway places with the strange sounding names, far away over the sea. And I said, bingo, that's for me. 13 years of age, I said, that's for me. So there was also something in the cinema, some of them, called The Magic Carpet. And they showed you Honolulu, Acapulco, Havana, and I used to say, oh man, oh. So then, live your dream, but how do you do it? I was going to go into Millie's Watson because my dad, my granddad, and my uncle told me, you're going to be an engineer. So I said, wait a minute, I'll serve my apprenticeship, I'll qualify Merchant Navy, and I'll see you all. Now in these days, there was some flying, but it was flying boats, 50 people, and they were very rich. The only way you got around the world was by sea. Am I boring you, by the way? No. So, by sea, it was 27 days to India, 5 weeks to Australia, 5 weeks to South America, and New York was 8 to 9 days, except in the 2 Queens. So, and these faraway places were mysterious to us. They may as well have been the moon, and at least we could see the moon. So, I said, that's it. Well, without boring you, started my apprenticeship, finished it in 1948. The war was over. Millie's Watson were the biggest supplier of sugar factory machinery in the world. And in 1948, lots of men who had gone out before the war to work in these factories had never got home. So they were all coming home. And they came to Millie's for engineers. Right place, right time. So, May's dad, who had already absorbed the shock that she was marrying a man that supports the Rangers, in a second, I was dragging his daughter to this place, India. He saw it as disease and all the whole works. So I wasn't very popular with family. But we survived. And Mum, God bless her, she came with me. And you know, I couldn't have travelled the world without knowing that someone at home was looking after the home front. There was split chins, measles, tonsils. They had it. I wasn't there. But I knew it was in good hands. So without her, I'd never got anywhere. Anyway, we went to India. Alan was born in Madras. We came home for 6 months. Gordon was born in Glasgow. May came back. And we came home for good 1956. Into Millie's, I won't waste a couple of years, but the sales director suddenly called me and says, Ian, I want you to start selling our machinery overseas. Now, I'd already done a bit of my dream, you know, on the ship, the Suez Canal, Marseille, all of that, but I really got on my wings then, And I was given Middle East, Africa and India. And May used to have to regularly convince the boys that the strange man who came in, grabbed his clubs and disappeared was their dad. Anyway, that happened in 1966. I was going all over the world. In 1966, Tate & Lyle took us over and I had to move to London. That was a big shock to the boys and May, but God bless her soul, she came. And we went down to London, and it was the engineering division. Now they employed about 2,000 people all around the world and big world projects. And in 1972 I was made the sales director. And by then, Hawaii, Australia, Fiji, you name it, wherever a piece of sugar cane, my coffee bean. And that is how I lived my dream. Now, there are people in here tonight who don't realise it. They've lived their dreams. There's my granddaughter. Kirsty. Her mum had been in Australia, came home, has 2 sisters born in Australia, and from 13, Christy had the bug, from her granddad and her mum, Australia. Well, she went out there alone 3 years ago. She's here tonight. She's flying back tomorrow. And in May, she can get Australian citizenship. She's lived her dream. She may give another, but she's lived that dream. And then there's Paul. Where is he? Paul, massive stroke at 29, with a good physiotherapist. Mind, he was a Celtic physiotherapist. But what can I say? With a good physiotherapist, not only fixing him physically, he fixed him mentally. And 3 years ago, Paul went to Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. And he's just back from 3 months in Vietnam. And I can tell you, his next one's Brazil. So there's a man living his dreams. And then there's my young grandson. Where is he? Now Rory got into one of the big financial companies. Against a lot of competition, he was picked. And he's been there nearly 2 years, and he's been moved to London in June. Well, actually Red Hill. But he's beginning to live his dream. And I know it is, I'm going to beat that old grandpa of mine. And I think he will. And then there's Sean. Massive bypass, 3 triple bypass. 2 years ago, Monte Carlo Rally. He's got the badge, it's an exclusive club, and he's doing it again. So you see, folk are living their dreams, and I'm telling all of you, have a dream, live it. You've just got to believe in yourself and go for it. So that's that. I hope that message is loud and clear. There is one more. An old boy, a fellow member of the club, and you may have read it in the Extra 9 weeks ago. 90 years of age in December. He was a paratrooper. He skydived at 70, he skydived at 80, and he says, Ian, I can't wait till I'm 90, I'm going to do it now. And he skydived, and it was in the Extra. 89 years of age, high blood pressure, doctor, family, no, he skydived. He lived his dream. So that's it. Believe me, live your dreams. And don't, for God's sake, get caught up in this damn thing called mobile phoneitis. And there's another one, televisionitis, where you become a potato couch or a couch potato. That there is a dreadful disease, but luckily it can be cured. And I read of a case last week, a girl in the train coming from Glasgow, phoning her boyfriend up, darling, you know, this important stuff, you know, really important. Darling, I bought a new lipstick today. Oh, and I've got some lovely underwear, and I'm bringing you a steak. Now this is going on in the train. And a man leaned over, I wish it'd been me, and he said, for God's sake, shut up and come back to bed with me. I understand she's totally cured. She now actually sits in the train and looks out the window. So there's hope for all of you. And finally, oh, I see you saying, oh my God, finally, life and health are a precious gift. Make every minute count. If you look around here, there's a few bald heads, and they'll all agree, believe me, it flies by like that. Don't waste a minute. Please, don't waste a minute. And health, you know, the whining and dining, but don't overdo it. Enjoy it, but don't overdo it. And believe me, that's my recipe for all of you. And I want you all, from tonight, to live your dreams. Oh my God, I saw you saying, oh my God. I mentioned an electric blanket, right? So I get home, and this blanket it covers the whole bed. There's no big lumpy wires, no big lump at your shoulder. And I said, oh boy, wait till I get to bed tonight. When it struck me, and I didn't know whether to laugh or cry, because I suddenly realised, when a man gets excited about going to bed with a blanket, it's a loud, clear message. May your gods be with you. And like Donald Trump, I didn't use a note.
You took the very words out. I was going to say, we've got to follow that, Gordon.
I know.
What was the difference between Ian's speech and the BBC and ITV news people? They're all reading it from screens. Well done, sir, well done. I will now pass you over.
The trouble with having a dad at 90 is that at my age my memory's going, so I have got notes. So. Dad-in-law, granddad, friend, legend. We celebrate your 90 years of age. However, for Alan and I, Dad is in fact only 60 years his age. As some 30 years passed with him being abroad, building security for his family and a legacy of sugar factories across the world, with only guest appearances every 3 to 6 months. It was, however, this being abroad that saved his life and allows him to still be here today. My own 21st birthday party, and Mum was the appointed official birthday cake cutter. This cake was one Dad, ever being a salesman, had negotiated with his office's chef instead of one from Mum's cake shop. And with a rather large and sharp knife in hand, Mum cut through the icing to reveal not the desired chocolate cake, but the hated fruit cake. Should Dad not have been absent, one can only assume where Mum was going to use the knife next. Back to 1967 and Dad's decision to take 3 disgruntled faces down to London to live. Our first week there, and Dad managed to drive the wrong way off the Strand towards Trafalgar Square, witnessed by a London bobby, who, in inquiring if Dad was aware that he'd come the wrong way and survived, was informed that we were complete strangers in town and that the road signs in Glasgow are different.
Oh, by the way, my family were all hiding under the seat.
Despite the early disgruntled 3 faces, what a time to be a teenager and swing in London. Mini skirts, more mini skirts and more mini skirts. Carnaby Street and then the King's Road. Thanks, Dad. Nonetheless, the poor of Glasgow took Alan and then Mum and Dad back, and membership of this marvellous golf club, which has provided him with valued source of enjoyment and friends, who have been entertained no doubt by some of his fascinating, funny and distinctly non-PC traveller's tales. It is a major regret that we never made him put them into a book. So Dad, it just leaves me to say very many congratulations, very many thanks for such a great evening, and a warning to your grandchildren for them to start preparing a speech for 10 years' time. But in celebration of your travel, I took a straw poll, a few of all your friends, family, associates, former associates, whether they thought you would have been a good member of Her Majesty's Diplomatic Service. And this was the reply I got. So, you've been the wise career choice. But in celebration of your travels, I'd like to present you with this. I got sent over, so, John, would you mind?
No, he knows what this is.
It's a memory of something for you.
It's just a wee memory.
Oh my! That is a jeepney which they're used in Manila. They pick you up, and if you're lucky, you're not killed on the way. And you fall out the back, and it's for the peasants, not Not me. But it's a lovely present, and I
Recognise it.
Well
Some
done there,
dreams
Gordon.
don't
Well
come
done.
off. Don't get disappointed.
Oh, Kimberly will join the...
I'm not sure.
Oh, by the way, folks, this man's going to make a speech. He may no longer be my close friend after this one. Oh, yeah, still in? You'll be up to something. Oh,
It's me. I'd just like to say before I start, I take no credit for what I'm about to read. It's all Alan Carmichael over here. I've just been forced to read it.
hey!
So it's a poem. I'm never going to be able to read any of this. Okay. Fair for your honest sonsy face, great head bummer of the Carmichael race, a legend still in your 90 years and still supporting the teddy bears. Wheeler you worthy of a grace, so let us cut to the chase. Born long ago in your elder park, and then to Govan Hill you did embark, floating on roller skates, playing hockey with your mates. Just outside your Langside Road home, no traffic then to spoil the game. Then you had to get your socks on, every morning up at dawn, delivering milk and stifling a yawn. Until at last goodbye to Cuthbertson Street, to Burley's Watson and new friends to meet, an engineering apprenticeship to complete. Working days and studying nights, walking home when Adolf Hitler turned out the lights. Still find time to go dancing and learning the art of true romancing. Capturing the heart that was Mary Lynch's, standing tall at 5'1.5" inches. Then you married that bonny lass and carried her off to Madras. An engineer to run a sugar mill, couldn't use your native patter, but amidst all the noise and clatter, you learned to speak Tamil. The servants taught it to your eldest son. Mary thought their hearts her boy had won. But alas, when you heard his practice shout, and the Indian laughter left no doubt, it wasn't Shakespeare they had taught the young buck. I'll leave out the next line. Now you had two handsome wains with eyes a-glistening. I had to say handsome as my dad is listening. You had been in India many a year, said goodbyes with many a tear, found fond memories linger of that time in heat, but back it was to Scotland Street. Worked long hours and sometimes later, got promoted to chief estimator, getting the figures right with much caution, eventually rewarded with further promotion. As all your talents were unfurled, as a salesman you got to fly the world. New friends made and problems surmounted, all of we here have enjoyed our adventures recounted. My thanks to Chris for being your friend. I hope the good times never end. All not bad for a Govan laddie, over time transformed to a sugar daddy. I skipped a few years, some of you may have wondered, but I'll return to them when you are 100.
I've quickly here got the heading here, the good times, Ian. And I'm talking personally here about yourself, that my time with you, this is our 22nd anniversary today. We'll do some good times together. It started really, when I met Ian in 1995, we didn't know what we were going to do. And we were introduced to John Bell in a crowd called Dustbin Men. So Ian and I decided to go out on a Sunday morning with the Dustbin Men. 8:30 on a Sunday morning. Now we lasted, what, 6 weeks? And the two of us looked at each other and we said, no, this isn't for us. So we started playing Sundays, Tuesdays and Fridays even. And we had some lovely times there playing those days. Also, it was 7 years we went abroad. We had a great 7 years abroad, Portugal and Spain, 8 of us going away and having wonderful golf. Ian asked me, you've told me not to talk about the 2 Spanish waitresses that you met, the Croatian barmaid, and the Swedish chambermaid. So we're not going to talk about the main, just as you asked. Don't you worry. Then that followed on, in between the 7 years abroad, we had 16 years of the Mary Carmichael Trophy. Now, that was a wonderful time. There was 16 of us on average in that. And Alan, I think you've got the trophy.
No, I've got it.
Maybe you're giving it to Alan a long while ago. So
I
you've
did,
got
but he
it.
said, Dad, you better
Did
keep
you take
it.
it back to him? But
Especially he was moving home.
that again, that was a wonderful time with the Carmichael Trophy. And we've 2 apologies tonight from Scott Ritchie and Vince Medill. Scott Ritchie's in Sydney. This is our 4-ball that we had for many years. Scott Ritchie, Vincent, Ian and I. We used to tour the world in Scotland with the 4 of us. So they send their apologies. They've all got further thing there. So that was it. So really, I've had a wonderful 22 years with you, son. I've had 848 Tuesdays with you. Oh, it's a heavy. So that was it. So what? That's my speech, really. May, by the way, May's on the Twitter. She got on the Twitter machine the other day and Twitter President Trump. She gave you a resume of what age you were. And you know the reply from President Trump?
No.
Ian who? May then wrote to the Queen. She says, look, Hen, she says, we're wee pals 90. How about a wee letter? Something the way the Queen's reply from her private secretary was, come back in 10 years. And finally, we wrote to Theresa May. Now, Theresa, she read the letter and her private secretary wrote back again. She says, look, she says, I have enough trouble with the Lords in London the new way Brexit to worry about Lord Sugar. We sent out many letters, but we've not had one letter back yet.
We received a letter from the general manager of Tesco Silverburn, actually.
Oh, the general manager. Did you tell Alan and Gordon about you were worried about your hearing? Did you tell them? Did they tell you about that? He was very worried about his hearing, but I went with him to the Sheriff Court. And the hearing went very well. The sheriff said to Ian, he says, look son, he says, you're 90 years of age. And a man of 90 years of age is allowed a week. You got your glasses with you, son? Express, try them, they're brilliant.
Do you want mine?
What?
It's wondering age. I'm wondering where my glasses are.
So, this is the manager of the Silverburn at Tesco. And the sheriff said to Ian, look son, he says, a man of 90 should be allowed. Well, I'll read it out for you, son.
I'll get it here.
What respects does he get?
I have to read it out, have I?
Well, I would suggest, Ian, seriously, that you read it out to your family and friends.
Now, you know, 10 years ago, you had a big photo up there. This man is wanted. Please go and give the police station.
Read it out, please.
Dear Mr. Carmichael, whilst we'd like to thank you for your valued custom and the use of Tesco loyalty card, the manager of our store in Silverburn is banning you from shopping with us. Below is a list of actions over the last few weeks, all verified by our surveillance cameras. 1st December, set all alarm clocks in the houseware to go off at 5-minute intervals. 6th December, moved a sign saying, caution wet floor to a carpeted area. 9th December, while appearing to be choosing kitchen knives in the houseware aisle, asked an assistant if he knew where the antidepressants were. 12th December, in the kitchenware aisle, practiced the Madonna look using different size funnels. What a man. 16th December, when an announcement came over the loudspeaker began shouting, no, 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 it's those voices again. 18th December, when into a fitting room, shut the door and shouted, there's no toilet paper in here.
to Silverburn. We were hoping for some better letters, but we don't have any more letters.
Keep your specs on, Gramps. We get one from Nicola Sturgeon. There you go.
Wait a minute, let me just.
Nicholas Sturgeon is
Let me just explain this.
Nicola Sturgeon. The night is spoiled.
Ian wrote her a long preamble about the three things he was all worried about was if they became independent, what about defence, what army would we have? And also, what about our food, the food exports, and finally, would the tourism crash? So you were all worried about that, weren't you, sir? So Nicola has replied to you about the defence.
Dear Mr. Carmichael, we've received your questions about defence, food exports and tourism. Should we become independent? Defence, Scotland do not need a defence army. We have the Tartan army. Food exports, we are the land of square sausage. Nicola proposes to sellotape a square sliced sausage to every bottle of whisky we export. This will boost our food export. Tourism. People come from all over the world to our unique customs and ways. Here's a list of a few of them. Where a carry-out has nothing to do with food. Where a winch isn't a piece of machinery. Where shaggy cows need a haircut. Being too proud to run for the bus. £10 notes you can't spend anywhere else. Where corned beef is a skin tone. And where we put salt in our porridge. Cheering when we cross the border. There's more. Home of banter. Where the rest of the world come to party. Strangers 1 minute, best of pals the next. Going out on the randan, hunters of midges. The only country made more beautiful by rain. I trust we have answered all your questions. Yours, Nicola Sturgeon. Thank you very much.
And is there any more letters?
We received a registered envelope from London.
A registered envelope from London.
Yeah, I think there's. Did I bring it? This is for you and special delivery.
See this woman?
No, just for you.
I don't know what this is.
Read it out.
Well, this is really something.
Read it out.
I really am. This is from Tate and Lyle. Seriously. From Jayed Hamid, the chairman. I'm delighted to congratulate you on behalf of everyone at Tate and Lyle on your 90th birthday. You may have retired from the company more than 30 years ago, but you will always be a member of the Tate and Lyle family. And we are proud to, I bet they are, the pension's costing them a fortune. And we are very proud to recognise the milestone you've reached. Everyone at Tate and Lyle extends their best wishes to you on this special day, and you hope you have a wonderful celebrity dinner surrounded by your friends and family. We wish you to continue your happiness and health. Your signed, Jahid Hamid, Chief Executive.
To finish the evening off, folks, that was a lovely wee finish there with just a wee quiz.
And all contributions will be welcome. Okay, have a good night. Thank you all.